I was scrolling through Reddit the other night, just looking for something to read before bed. I found this story. At first, it seemed pretty harmless, just someone complaining about their strange neighbor. But as I kept reading, things got darker, much darker. Tonight, I'm going to share it with you. This is the story of the man in apartment 6B. The man in 6B. Original post. Alright, I don't normally post on Reddit. I mostly just lurk. But after tonight, I don't really know what else to do. I need to put this somewhere, even if it makes me sound crazy. I think there's something wrong with my neighbor. I live in this shitty little apartment building just outside of town. You know the type. The hallway lights flicker, the carpets are stained with God knows what, and you can hear pretty much everything your neighbors do through the walls. Rent's cheap, so I can't really complain, but the place has always felt a little off. Still, I've never been scared here until a couple of weeks ago. The guy next door, in Unit 6B, moved in around 2 months back. I've never seen him in daylight, not once. No grocery bags, no mail, no casual "hey, how's it going" in the hall. The only time I hear anything from his apartment is in the middle of the night. Usually, it starts around 2 or 3 a.m. First, the pacing. Heavy footsteps back and forth across the length of his apartment. Slow, deliberate, like he's wearing boots on hardwood. It goes on for hours. Sometimes there's laughter. But it doesn't sound like real laughter. It's the kind of laugh you'd hear from someone who's practicing, like he's trying to copy what laughter sounds like without ever having actually felt it. At first I thought maybe he was just weird. Maybe an insomniac or some guy working night shifts who blows off steam pacing around. Annoying, yeah, but harmless. But that changed a few nights ago. I pressed my ear to the wall just to figure out what he was doing in there. Maybe he had a TV turned up or was moving furniture around. The footsteps stopped. Silence. Then, right up against the wall, I heard a voice.
I know you're listening.
I nearly fell backward. My heart was racing, palms sweating. I didn't move for the rest of the night. I haven't been able to shake it since. Every time I walk down the hall, I feel like he's listening, watching. I don't know what his deal is, but I can't shake the feeling. Something is very, very wrong with him. Update 1. It's been 3 days. I swear I'm not paranoid. Something's happening. The noises haven't stopped. If anything, they've gotten worse. The pacing is louder, heavier, and it's not just pacing anymore. There's dragging, long, slow drags across the floor. Sometimes they end with a dull thud against the wall we share. At first I told myself he was moving furniture, rearranging at night for some reason. But it doesn't sound like furniture. It sounds heavier, softer. 2 nights ago I woke up to something new. Knocking, not on my door, on the wall, right where my bed is. 3 slow knocks. I froze, sat there in the dark, barely breathing. I didn't knock back. I didn't move. Eventually, the knocking stopped. But then I heard something dragging directly on the other side of the wall, from one end of the room to the other. I convinced myself it was nothing. Maybe he was having a late-night snack or getting ready for work. I don't know, this is all so strange. This morning, leaving for work, I noticed something outside his door. A black trash bag, huge, tied shut. It stank so bad. That sour, metallic smell you get from blood, mixed with something rotten. It was the worst thing I've smelt in my life. I gagged and rushed down the stairs. When I came back that evening, the bag was gone. The carpet outside his door had been scrubbed clean, like it had never been there, but I can still smell it. Even now, in my apartment, it's like it seeped through the walls. I don't know what the hell's going on in 6B, but I don't think I want to find out. Still, I can't stop listening. I find myself curious to what I'm going to hear. I want to figure this out. I'll keep you guys updated. Update 2. It's been 4 more days now. I wish I was making this up, I really do, but I finally saw him. I was coming home late from work, climbing the stairwell, when I froze. He was standing in the hallway, not moving, just standing there, with this massive black trash bag slung over his shoulder. He's taller than I imagined, thin, pale, with dark circles under his eyes. He looked wrong, like someone who hadn't seen daylight in years. His hair was greasy, hanging down in uneven strands, and his clothes looked stiff, like he'd slept in them for weeks. When he turned his head and saw me, my stomach dropped. He smiled, not a friendly smile, not even a creepy grin. It was deliberate, like he wanted me to see his teeth, like he wanted me to know he wasn't scared of me. I bolted past him, fumbled my keys, slammed into my apartment, and locked every bolt I had. My hands were shaking so badly, I dropped my phone trying to dial 911. I hung up before it rang. What would I even say to them? My neighbor smiled at me. When I finally worked up the courage to check the peephole, the hall was empty. But there was something outside my door. The bag. Big. Heavy. Tied shut. I didn't touch it. I didn't even breathe. I just stared at it until eventually I passed out on the couch, knife clutched in my hand. When I woke up this morning, the bag was gone. Maybe I'm over-imagining things now. I feel like I'm going crazy. I think I know what's in those bags. I didn't want to look. I swear I didn't. But tonight, when I was walking past his apartment, I noticed his door was cracked open, just a few inches, but enough that I could see inside. There were bags, dozens of them, black plastic trash bags piled against the wall like he was building a fort, and one of them was torn. Through the gap in the plastic, I saw something pale. I could have sworn it was a finger. I stumbled back so hard I nearly tripped over my own feet. I told myself it could have been a mannequin or old meat or anything else. But deep down, I knew. I shouldn't have looked, because now he knows I saw, and I'm certain of it because of what happened just an hour ago. I was sitting on the couch, lights off, trying to calm down. The hallway outside was quiet, too quiet. It's past midnight and he's making no noise. A part of me was relieved, but I had this strange feeling. I crept over and looked through the peephole, just to make sure, and that's when I saw him. He was already there, standing completely still, his face inches from the glass. His eye was staring directly into mine. I yanked back so hard I hit the wall behind me. When I finally looked again, the hallway was empty. His door was closed. I don't know what's worse. The idea that I imagined it, or the idea that I didn't. Update 4. I finally called the police. I couldn't take it anymore. The banging on the walls, the dragging sounds, the whispers. Last night, I swear I heard him humming, not a tune I recognized, just this low, broken humming, like a lullaby someone forgot halfway through. I didn't want to be that neighbor, the one who makes false reports, but when I pressed my ear to the wall, I heard something that shattered whatever doubt I had left. A voice. Low, muffled, desperate. Not his voice, someone else's. So I called 911. My voice cracked, my words tumbled out, but they promised to send someone. 2 officers showed up within half an hour. The whole time I was shaking. I kept apologizing, telling them they'd probably find nothing. But when we stepped into the hallway, that smell hit us. Rotten like meat left out in the sun. One of the officers immediately looked serious. They exchanged glances, and the taller one stepped up to 6B's door. He knocked. Firm, official, nothing. He knocked again. This time louder. Still nothing. Then he pounded his fist against the door so hard the sound echoed down the entire hallway. Just when I thought they'd leave, there was a sound from inside. Slow, deliberate footsteps. Closer, closer. And then the door creaked open, not wide, just a few inches, enough for a shadow to slip through a gap. The smell poured out so thick it made my eyes water. I gagged, clapping a hand over my mouth. The officer pushed the door wider. And that's when I saw them. The bags. Dozens of them. Piled in corners, stacked against the wall. They were swollen, stretched to their limits, tied tight at the top. Some had split seams, dark fluid seeping onto the floor. One of the cops swore under his breath. The other reached for his radio. And then he appeared. My neighbor stepped out of the shadows like he'd been there the whole time, waiting, thin, pale. Those hollow eyes locked onto me. But he didn't look afraid. He didn't even look surprised. He smiled. That same awful smile. Slowly, he raised his hands. Not in panic, not in surrender. Almost like he was offering himself to them. The taller cop ordered him to the ground. He didn't move at first. He just kept staring at me, right at me. His lips twitched, and I swear he was about to speak. But then, just like that, he knelt down, lay flat, let them cuff him without a word. As they pulled him to his feet, he craned his neck, never breaking eye contact with me. "We know you were listening," he whispered under his breath. I'll never forget the way he said it. Calm, certain, like he knew exactly what he was leaving behind in that apartment. Did he get some sick enjoyment knowing I heard it all? Was this his whole game? The cops dragged him out, his smile never fading, his eyes never leaving mine. When the door finally slammed shut, I nearly collapsed against the wall. I was shaking so badly, one of the officers had to steady me. They told me not to worry, that he was going away for a long time, that it was over. But the image of those bags, of him smiling, of his voice whispering through the wall. What did he mean by we? Apparently, he was schizophrenic and the voices were telling him to do things. That must have been what he meant by we. Anyway, that sick man will be locked up for the rest of his life, and I won't have to deal with this shit anymore. I'm moving out as soon as I can. I can't wait to get away from this place. Final update. It's been a little over a week since they took him away. I'm moving out in 6 days. I can't wait. It's so hard to stay asleep here now, just knowing what was really going on in the room right next to me. The cops had 6B completely sealed off. Boards over the door, tape across the frame. I overheard the landlord muttering something about fumigation, but I know it was more than that. They don't want anyone near that apartment, and honestly, neither do I. The hallway still smells faintly like bleach. Stronger near 6B, of course. I force myself to walk past without looking at the boards. The officers promised me it was over, that he wouldn't be coming back, that I'd be safe. And I believed them. I wanted to believe them. I even put a notice to leave. Just 6 more days now, and I can move out of this nightmare building for good. For the first time in forever, I started to feel almost normal. Eating meals, sleeping with the lights off, thinking about where I might go next. I even thought, maybe I'll be able to laugh about all this one day. But then, the other night, I woke up at around 3 a.m. No reason, no sound. Just that familiar prickling on the back of my neck, like something had pulled me out of sleep. I laid there in the dark, listening. The boards on 6B creaked in the heat. The radiator hissed. Normal apartment sounds. But then, I thought I heard something else. A faint tapping. Not from my room, not from outside. From inside 6B. I froze, holding my breath. It only lasted a second or two before stopping. I told myself it was in my head. A dream bleeding into reality. Old pipes. Rats. Maybe... I don't know, it was late. My head's probably playing tricks on me again. I went back to sleep. The next night, I heard it again. This time, it wasn't just tapping. It was scratching. Slow, deliberate scratches against the floorboards. I sat up in bed, heart hammering. The sound went on for almost a full minute before fading into silence. I wanted to tell myself it was rats. God knows this building has them. But the boards over 6B's door made me doubt myself. The place was sealed. No one in. No one out. Still, I laughed it off. I had to. I told myself, damn rats. But deep down, I didn't believe it. Not after all the shit I've been through. It happened again last night. I'll never forget tonight. I woke to a loud scrape. A heavy dragging sound. Exactly like the ones I used to hear before he was taken away. I shot out of bed, pulse racing, and pressed my ear to the wall. At first it was quiet. Silent enough I thought I was imagining things. But then it came again. That dragging. Louder this time, and closer. And then, a whisper. Faint. So faint I almost thought I dreamed it.
He wasn't the one talking to you.
My entire body went cold. I stumbled back, nearly tripping over myself. My throat was dry, my legs shaking so badly I could hardly stand. My chest felt so tight. I grabbed my phone, hands trembling. But what was I supposed to do? Call the cops again? Tell them that I heard a voice through a boarded-up apartment? They'd never believe me. I don't even believe me. But the boards were creaking. Softly. Like someone was pushing against them from the other side. I stood in the middle of my apartment, cold, afraid. I saw my front door handle turn slightly. I swear I did. I shut myself in the bathroom and locked the door until sunrise. I was too scared to even go out and get my phone. I finally built up the courage to leave the bathroom when I could hear other people outside in the hall. I called a friend over and we packed all my things that morning. I'm staying with him until I can get into my new place. I don't know what's in 6B. I don't know who's in 6B, but I know this much. It was not the man they arrested.